Hey Aries, Riverica here, reporting for duty on a trigger. Thank you so much for shuffling states of emergency into adoption spirit magic with me and steering clear of danger. Heartily, we are grateful. In this session, we are exploring an obstacle you have been facing and how you may overcome it. But before that, some disclaimers. I am not a doctor, lawyer, therapist. I'm a fortune teller. So what I offer is no substitute for their services. Furthermore, what I share does not determine your future, only your intentions and actions do. So please use your gifts of discernment before deciding what to gather and take away, and of course, take only what resonates and blow like a kiss the rest to the universe for cosmic composting into beauty. This reading is intended for fun and games, for shits and giggles, for entertainment, for flexing our heart, mind, body, soul, spirit, and intuition. And at the least, I hope to cause harm to none, and at the most, I hope I may assist you on your healing path. All that said, thank you so much for being here and, pardon me, showing up, doing your thing, and also helping me clear the space before we begin and holding the intention of seeing only love, and only love we shall see. Yes, clearing the space, streaming in grace to replace. So only those here for the highest love and light are with us, assisting us. Heartily, we are grateful. Thank you so much. So, we have 2 decks to assist us with our endeavor this session. Souls on Fire by Mary Jo Cranmore and illustrated by Juliet Gilden, and some rose quartz on top of that. And I'll leave the details for this deck and for Mary Jo in the description, God willing, however you call God. And you can check her out yourself and get this in your hot little hands yourself. They're such a fun deck. And also witness for yourself MJ and her brilliant readings and resources and courses. So, Aries, you are a whole, full, powerful, loving, spiritual being, and so am I. And we thank your source, spirit team, angels, galaxy guides, ancestors, saints, sages, gods, goddesses, universe is here for the highest love and light, as well as mine. And we thank your source and my source for immediately shifting the situation into what it needs to be, offering necessary insights, healings, acts of grace, protection. Heartily, we are grateful. And so it was, and so it was, and so it was, and so it was. So let us see. What is this obstacle Aries has been facing? Maybe some of you are intimate friends with this obstacle. Maybe some of you just need an affirmation. Maybe some of you have a fuzzy idea. Want to explore more. Thank you for being so brave and persistent. And hugs, hugs, hugs. It is not easy to say the least. Thank you for being so strong. So let us see what this obstacle is, so we may see what may help you transform that into a building block. Oh my, I love that. I had a feeling that was going to happen. If you're drawn to another reading, there may be another reason why. There may be a reason why. So this Ace of Cups, this overflowing cup is full, the spirituality, this Abundance. So beautiful. But we're talking about the obstacle. Now let's talk about the Two of Wands. Look at that. It's that fire energy. Getting things moving. We're at the two. The number two represents pairing and duality and establishing healthy relationships. Right now, those two, 1, 2, it looks like a doorway or a portal. And he's got the world in his hands. But he's waiting. Things are far from in place. Not in beginning phases, but close to the beginning phases. And does he really hold the world in his hands? Can he really do that? And this is not a gender-specific reading, so take it as it resonates. We all have masculine and feminine within us, some would say. Please correct me if that's incorrect. And I appreciate your feedback. And so this is a block. This is a block that you have been facing, that waiting game. All the different songs you could play about the waiting game. And if you're not prepared to wait, that just makes it even more trying. For example, one of the bits I learned at teacher education class reminding us about the wait time. When you ask someone a question, allow them wait time. Allow them that equity of the wait time to come up with an answer. And perhaps that looks like playing the Jeopardy song that lasts exactly 20 seconds, or you make up your own song that lasts 30 seconds, or you allow students 5 minutes to write it out, and if they finish their write out before that or their talk out before that, there's a filler activity, all the different ways you can play with that within your classrooms of life, right? To help play through the waiting game. But if you don't know you're playing that waiting game, and for example, you're that teacher in the classroom and you ask the question and you don't wait, and you start getting frustrated because people haven't answered what's wrong with them, and it spirals quickly and ends up looking like part of that violence cycle that we are trying to step out of. So all the different ways that plays out in the classrooms of life, that waiting game. So hugs. I know that divine timing is sometimes so tricky and challenging to abide. But the tree angel has a suggestion for us about how to play through. So never fear, Aries. Let's see what the tree angel oracle says. 2. That was funny. Scots pine on the bottom, number 19. I think the Scots pine gets along with everybody, or is it nobody? Quadruple check me. Scots pine, number 19. The 1 and the 9. And we have the oak and the almond. Oh, again, if you were drawn to another reading, maybe I didn't say that already. If you are drawn to another reading, you may check it out. You may affirm some bits that you're picking up here. So the oak, number 7 and 24, the almond, so beautiful. So let's see what's going to help us, Aries, overcome this obstacle and that 2 of Wands vibe that you've been facing so bravely, so patiently. Sometimes maybe not. I feel you. Me too. I got Aries in me. We all do. So the 7, the oak, that number 7, it helps us with any boundary issue. It's wonderful in that way as the numerology goes, and is such a divine inspirational number. And the 24, the 2 and the 4, we can break that down, adds up to a 6. Isn't that interesting? A 6 and a 7. If we add that up, 6 and a 7. The 2 is representing pairing, duality, relationships, establishing healthy relationships. So huge for especially orphans and adoptees whose boundaries perhaps weren't respected or considered equitably in many of the adoption contracts that we have seen throughout time and even currently. So that too is a wonderful number to help us play through and heal through that. And the number 4 as well assists us when people are assists us in staying grounded when people are pulling on us energetically, physically, spiritually. And they add up to a 6, which is the number of service, which maybe some would say adoption, being an adoptee, is one of the ultimate services, one of the ultimate acts of service. And others would say, no, it wasn't with consent. And we could go back and forth about that, right? On and on. But all to say that numerology is something that you may find interesting to help you play through this obstacle. And you know, we are all different psychosocial science experiments, and what resonates for you may be different than me. So I enjoy offering you to explore more 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 27 different resources, so you may see what resonates with you and help make this reading more meaningful for you, if that is something that sounds fun. So it's occurring to me to say, if I didn't say it already, that number 2 and the 4 adding up to a 6, it's the number of service, but it also differentiates between light and dark and the choices we make between those. And that perhaps has been playing out more over the past 3 years, or maybe we've been able to notice that more over the past 3 years, just trying to find our healthy, happy space. So the oak says, virtually no other living thing in the biosphere has the same vitality and sheer life force as the oak tree. Human beings have been aware of this since time immemorial, and entire cultures have sought out its presence. They drew great power from this king of trees, but unfortunately often misused its force to wage war on and conquer other peoples. The oak tree is associated with Mars, a planet that is often too hastily identified with the god of war. Originally, and indeed for many centuries, Mars was the god of farming and the protector of the house and homestead. Its role as defender eventually leading to its connection with war. And indeed, oak is at home in a broad spectrum of human associations, since its energy is essentially neutral. How we use this is up to us. The gift of the oak angel is to be filled with energy and power. Success is assured. We become confident and strong in body and mind. We can fight if necessary and also protect those whom we love. And thanks to the quote-unquote medicine of the oak, we do so with great integrity. Without the blessings of the oak, we are seized with lethargy, fear, and fatigue. Weakness, laziness, and despondency lead to general failure. In society, this plays out as spineless opportunism and blind obedience. Quote-unquote warriors and leaders become followers and imitators. If we are totally cut off from oak, darkness and depression ensue, and lies and betrayal follow. Wow, that's pretty deep, Aries. So that oak So interesting that it is essentially a neutral energy. So wonderful to know that, and what a beautiful gift of oak to assist that in that way during times of conflict, right? Especially when we are choosing the nonviolent path. And the oak oracle also has a poem for us. The source of life force nourishes your deepest roots with vitality, will, and power. Make the world your own, but take care. Hear the secret of success. Care for those in need. Bring tenderness where emptiness once ruled. Tenderness, tenderness, all the songs about tenderness. That is a beautiful reminder. Yes, yes, especially when we are grief struck by loss and it's piled up like we saw happen during the pandemic. Maybe that came to our attention some more, or awareness some more during those times. Sometimes during those times it's really challenging to be tender. Like, oh my God, of all the times, of course we want to be tender then, but we're so pushed to the limit that perhaps our heart has gotten hard. So the oak reminds us to bring some tenderness. So enjoy that oak and all the different ways. It's so beautiful just coming into life again this spring. I've been noticing. I love the oak. I love all the trees. They have so much to offer us and just help replenish us. Cosmic compost. So Aries, the almond, has to say, when winter snow covers the northern hemisphere, the first tree to bloom under southern skies is the almond. From the very beginning, almond's white splendor opened the heart of humanity. The almond tree is a manifestation of divine love. It strengthens our ability to be loyal and honorable, and to act with charity and empathy. Almond elevates our sense of the divine worth. Almond elevates our sense of divine worth and provides the impetus needed on our spiritual journey. It is the mystic's tree. Its older Aramaic name means quote-unquote light, and in ancient Jewish tradition, the almond tree is also associated with the omnipresence of God. Such beautiful messages. It's the mystic tree. It's associated with the omnipresence of God, elevates our sense of divine worth, and provides the impetus needed on our spiritual journey. What beautiful gifts this almond tree is sharing. I know I'm repeating myself. That's part of my job. But I'm just so called to. It's just such amazing gifts. The botanical name amygdalus hails from the Middle East and stems from the ancient Sumerian Ama-Ga, meaning great mother. The almond angel encourages us to search for the divine in life, to live with the very best intentions, by the highest ideals possible. The future belongs to the children, which is reason enough to fill the present with love. Ask and you will receive. But that is just the beginning. The path to the throne of the almond goddess is long and is one of inner development and initiation. Almond's spiritual dimension is like a great mandala, a word that is close to the German quote-unquote Mandel, meaning almond. In this sense, it reminds us of the labyrinths once walked by pilgrims found on the floors of some cathedrals, such as the Chartres in France. I apologize for my pronunciation of that cathedral. It's spelled Chartres. Amen. A woman. I'm saying the Thich Nhat Hanh bell mantra in my head for that Harley that just went through. maybe that shall be in my description as well, so you can say it in your head as well. So the seers of ancient Canaan spoke about the ancient quote-unquote city of the almond, a place of spiritual perfection like the legendary city of Shambhala in the Himalayas. Open the almond flower inside your heart. Follow the scent of purity. At the center shines the all-encompassing light of love. Even during the darkest periods of human history, the revelation of the angel of almond has been a slender thread of hope. But where its light is dim, we find spiritual poverty, a lack of love, deep pain, and the cruelty that results from these human conditions. Like I was just saying with the oak tree, like those times of loss that cause us to our heart to harden instead of being tender-hearted. So this just amplifying that message for us to really notice when we are wanting to soften our heart because it has gotten too hard with all the loss going on, and to notice when our heart becomes hard and to have cards that we can play, exercises to do, practices every day or whenever it suits you to help get your heart tender again, right? Especially as the future belongs to the children. We want to be tender-hearted for our children and be able to apologize for those times where we lashed out in our grief and stress, even though we know, they understand, but still, like, apologize and let them know again, I'm sorry, that's what happens sometimes. There's so much loss. We lash it out. Here's what I'm doing to improve that so I don't lash out as much. And you just include them in your process, and they see you unfold over years, and you get to honor them in the same way. And this section of the almond goes on to say, even during the darkest periods of human history, the revelation of the angel of almond has been a slender thread of hope. But where its light is dim, we find spiritual poverty, a lack of love, deep pain, and the cruelty that results from these human conditions. In terms of society, the absence of this angel leads to utter immorality and delusional feelings of self-importance and infallibility. I apologize, I read a little bit of that twice, but again, I go back to part of my job is to repeat myself. I see that the Almond Oracle also has a poem for us, and it goes something like this. Your yearning for truth and the meaning of life are heard in the depths of the universe. Divine wisdom sends the key, and the door stands close by. You will be beautiful and bring blessings to all. Oh, Aries, you already do, and you keep expanding upon that. Thank you so much for being so brave and acting so courageous as to tend to all these bits and pieces that were brought up during this reading. Mind, body, speech, and perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. My ears awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Om. Peace. Shanti. And there is Thich Nhat Hanh's bell mantra for you in honor of the Harley that just passed by. And again, thank you so much for joining us, Aries. Thank you for helping us breathe life into adoption spirit magic. Heartily, we are grateful. Until next time, ciao for now. We love you all.